Fear is simply because you are not living with life. You are living in your mind. Your fear is always about what's going to happen next. That means your fear is always about that which does not exist. There is no greater illusion than fear. Great men are always afraid. They just do it anyway. Forget safety. Live where you fear to live. Destroy your reputation. Be notorious. Be not afraid of anything. You will do marvelous work. The moment you fear, you are nobody. Be a hero. Always say, I have no fear. Tell this to everybody. Have no fear. The real destroyer of inner peace is fear and distrust. Fear develops frustration. Frustration develops anger. Anger develops violence. Of all your troubles, great and small, the greatest are the ones that don't happen at all. Fear is the result of a lack of confidence. A lack of confidence is the result of not knowing what you can do. A lack of knowing what you can do is caused by a lack of experience. A lack of experience is caused by a lack of doing something new. A man who is not afraid is not aggressive. A man who has no sense of fear of any kind is really a free, a peaceful man. Those who act with few desires are calm, without worry or fear. The trouble with most people is that they think with their hopes or fears or wishes, rather than with their minds. He never liked to go to people's homes to eat, because he didn't like eating with other people's silverware, so he would take his own silverware. And he didn't like drinking out of cups that other people had drunk out of, even in restaurants or other people's homes. So when he drank, he would drink where the handle was, knowing that no one would ever drink at that side. Nothing in life is to be feared. It is only to be understood. Now is the time to understand more, so that we may fear less. Fear is the enemy of logic. In the face of fear, logic is suspended. We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more from imagination than from reality. Ali's fear of flying developed after he experienced turbulence so bad that it sent plane equipment flying. He became so afraid of flying that he would only travel by plane if he wore his own parachute. Fear is a choice. In this world, there is always danger for those who are afraid of it. Fear of danger is 10,000 times more terrifying than danger itself. Johnson has admitted to having a fear of spiders, which is known as arachnophobia. He has spoken openly about his fear, saying that he gets a panic attack when he sees a spider. He also revealed that he often has nightmares about spiders. A man who fears suffering is already suffering from what he fears. Nazi dictator Adolf Hitler was scared of visiting the dentist. The man who ordered deaths of millions in the extermination camps once insisted his dentist draw out simple root canal work over 8 days, because he couldn't stand the pain. Fear is an acronym in the English language for false evidence appearing real. Fear has 2 meanings: forget everything and run, or face everything and rise. The choice is yours. In this video, we'll explore the various facets of fear through powerful quotes that illuminate the shadows of our minds and reveal the strength within us to conquer it. Fear, a primal emotion deeply ingrained in our psyche, is a force that both paralyzes and propels us. It's a universal human experience, whether it's the fear of the unknown, the fear of failure, or the fear of the future. But within fear lies the potential for growth, courage, and transformation. Everyone is born with the 2 innate fears of falling and loud sounds. The rest are learned. Our surroundings, parents, siblings, friends, TV, teach us at a young age to be scared of things like the dark or monsters. Experience shapes our fears as we get older. Children and adults suffer from a fear of the dark for a variety of reasons. For example, darkness impairs one's vision. Not being able to see as well increases anxiety, uncertainty, and tension, and this can lead to fear of the dark in any age group. Will Smith addresses his fear of sharks, and his phobia of all things water started when he was very young. In fact, his fear was so great that he didn't learn how to swim until he was in his 40s. He attributed much of that fear to Steven Spielberg's masterpiece, Jaws. "I blame Steven Spielberg," said Smith. "I was literally scared in the bathtub. I literally felt like a shark could come out of the spout. As Smith has gotten older and wiser over the years, he has made it a point to overcome his fears. So he decided to learn how to scuba dive and swim with sharks. I am a firm believer that fear creates the greatest atrocities and evils that have ever been committed on this planet. Fear is poison, and I'm gonna cleanse mine. All forms of fear produce fatigue. Fear is experienced in your mind, but it triggers a strong physical reaction in your body. As soon as you recognize fear, your amygdala, small organ in the middle of your brain, goes to work. It alerts your nervous system, which sets your body's fear response into motion. Stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline are released. Your blood pressure and heart rate increase. You start breathing faster. Even your blood flow changes. Blood actually flows away from your heart and into your limbs, making it easier for you to start throwing punches or run for your life. Your body is preparing for fight or flight. Fear defeats more people than any other one thing in the world. Lady Gaga revealed that she was raped by an older man when she was 19. I actually suffer from chronic pain all the time, and it's from this paralyzing fear that I've experienced for almost 10 years, she said. All that ever holds somebody back, I think, is fear. For a minute I had fear. Then I went into the dressing room and shot my fear in the face. If you can look at the fear straight in the eye, the fear will be scared and will go away. Never turn your back on fear. It should always be in front of you, like a thing that might have to be killed. I have learned over the years that when one's mind is made up, this diminishes fear. Knowing what must be done does away with fear. Don't let fear decide your future. You don't have to be fearless. Just don't let fear stop you. Fear has its use, but cowardice has none. Fear is in the imagination, cowardice in character. Novak Djokovic expressed his fears, saying that every single athlete at the highest level is bound to be afraid. I fear to lose a match. I fear to let myself down. I fear to let my coach down. I fear I doubt that I can deliver the game that everyone expects me to deliver. He also stressed the fact that every single human being must have that slight doubt and feeling of negativity in his mind, and being able to tackle that effectively is what makes great players stand out among the rest. Fear doesn't shut you down, it wakes you up. How we handle our fears will determine where we go with the rest of our life. I like to step into areas where I am afraid. Fear is a sign that I am going in the right direction. We must travel in the direction of our fear. I don't run away from a challenge because I am afraid. Instead, I run toward it because the only way to escape fear is to trample it beneath your feet. Fear is a hard thing to deal with. I feel it quite strongly. If I think something is important enough, I'll make myself do it in spite of fear. But it can really sap the will. I hate fear. I wish I had it less. Face your fears, or they will climb over your back. In order to succeed, your desire for success should be greater than your fear of failure. A good scare is worth more to a man than good advice. It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult. Above all, don't fear difficult moments. The best comes from them. Fear is the main source of superstition, and one of the main sources of cruelty. To conquer fear is the beginning of wisdom. Mycophobia, as described by Urban Dictionary, is an intense fear, prompted by depictions of Michael Jackson. When I heard the start of Thriller playing, I instantly started panicking. She has a genuine fear of Michael Jackson, which can be triggered by something as innocuous as hearing an MJ's song. If a family member plays his songs, I have to walk out of the room. An overwhelming fear of seeing or touching a belly button, whether it's your own or other people's, it's called omphallophobia. Fear of images with patterns of holes or bumps, it's called trypophobia. Fear of sleep, it's called somnophobia. Fear of vomiting, seeing vomit, hearing words associated with vomiting and feeling nauseous, may trigger this fear, emetophobia. An extreme and irrational fear of balloons occurs most frequently in children. It's called globophobia. Fear of mirrors. More specifically, of seeing your own reflection in a mirror. It's called isotrophobia. 5 core fears of human beings. Fear of abandonment. Loss of identity. Loss of meaning. Loss of purpose. Fear of death, including the fear of sickness and pain. The most common fear in human beings. An intense fear of injections. An intense fear of social interactions. An intense fear of places that are difficult to escape, sometimes involving a fear of crowded or open spaces. An intense fear of germs, dirt, and other contaminants. Every fear is fear of death. Almost everything, all external expectations, all pride, all fear of embarrassment or failure, these things just fall away in the face of death, leaving only what is truly important. He who fears death dies every time he thinks of it. Can any man be courageous who has the fear of death in him? Man cannot possess anything as long as he fears death. But to him who does not fear it, everything belongs. If there was no suffering, man would not know his limits, would not know himself. The more you live in the present moment, the more the fear of death disappears. The day which we fear as our last is but the birthday of eternity. The moment you start seeing life as non-serious, a playfulness, all the burden on your heart disappears. All the fear of death, of life, of love, everything disappears. To the well-organized mind, death is but the next great adventure. Live your life that the fear of death can never enter your heart. Men fear death, as children fear to go in the dark, and as that natural fear in children is increased by tales, so is the other. My only fear of death is reincarnation. It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live. To be feared is to fear. No one has been able to strike terror into others, and at the same time enjoy peace of mind. It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both. Let them hate, as long as they fear. Men are moved by 2 levers only, fear and self-interest. Fear is the passion of slaves. The fear of death is the beginning of slavery. If people are good because they fear punishment and hope for reward, then we are a sorry lot indeed. Nothing is more despicable than respect based on fear. In politics, what begins in fear usually ends in folly. 7 principles and techniques to manage and overcome fear through the principles of Stoicism. Understanding the nature of fear. Stoicism teaches that fear often arises from our perceptions and judgments about events, rather than the events themselves. The Stoics believed that by changing our perspective and understanding what is within our control and what is not, we can alter our emotional responses to external circumstances. Focus on what you can control. Stoicism emphasizes the concept of the dichotomy of control, distinguishing between things we can control, our thoughts, actions, and attitudes, and things we cannot, external events, other people's actions. By focusing on what is within our control, and accepting what is not, we can reduce anxiety and fear associated with events beyond our influence. Acceptance of fate. Stoics encourage the practice of amor fati, which translates to love of fate, or accepting everything that happens, as if we had chosen it. Instead of fearing the unknown, or uncontrollable aspects of the future, Stoics advocate embracing whatever comes our way with a positive and resilient attitude. Visualization of worst-case scenarios. A technique often attributed to the Stoic philosopher Seneca, involves contemplating worst-case scenarios. By imagining the worst that could happen, one becomes better prepared mentally and emotionally to face challenges. Mindfulness and the present moment. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of living in the present moment and not dwelling excessively on the past or worrying about the future. By practicing mindfulness and focusing on the current situation, individuals can reduce anxiety and fear associated with potential future events. Rationality and objective assessment. Stoics encourage rational thinking and objective assessment of situations. By analyzing fears with reason and logic, one can often see that the perceived threats are not as dire as initially thought. Building resilience through adversity. The Stoic perspective on facing challenges is that adversity provides an opportunity for personal growth and resilience. Instead of fearing difficulties, Stoicism teaches individuals to view them as opportunities to develop strength, virtue, and wisdom. In summary, Stoicism offers a practical and philosophical framework for managing fear by altering perspectives, focusing on what is within one's control, accepting the inevitable, and cultivating resilience through rational thinking and mindfulness.